Hello everybody, I'm back again today with another requested tier list. As you can see here, we have a request from Shashinga, I believe. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, but they've requested a rooms in the house tier list, which I haven't done, and I thought, yep, that sounds like it could be a nice idea. So here we are, we're doing that. I live in quite a small sort of apartment thing, so I don't have a lot of these rooms, but I mean, I still know what they are, so I will be ranking them all. So, let's just get started. So, starting off with backyard. As I say, I don't have one of these, but I had one when I was younger, like at my parents' house. It's, you know, it's not a room of the house, but it's part of the house, I guess. It's pretty solid, you know. When you're younger, go out, kick a football about, you know, mess about. But it's certainly not necessary. I think a backyard is pretty middle of the road C tier. You could manage without it, but it's decent to have. And we have a balcony. I do actually have a balcony. In the summer, it can be very nice if, you know, the sun's on it. Go out, read a book or something, enjoy the sun. But for where I live, the majority of the year, it's not very usable. It's like too cold or it's raining. And yeah, I think balcony's better in like a warmer country basically. But for me, it is nice in summer, I will say. Overall, you could definitely manage without a balcony as well. I think similar to backyard, like it's nice to have, but you don't need it. A C tier room. Then a basement. I do not have one of these either. But you know, this one is very nice. But I think a lot of people's basements sort of are just used to like keep junking and such in this country especially. It's like most of them don't have, like if you have a house with your basement, it usually don't have windows or anything. So it's like maybe you put your fridge down there or something, or like you just store stuff there. Yeah, I don't think it's the most used room. I mean, you could do it up nice and then do like loud activities in it, because I guess you're underground so the sound won't travel as well. That's one use for a basement, but for me, it's not the most useful. I think a D tier. Then on the other end we have bathroom. I think pretty much most houses or apartments will have a bathroom. I certainly have one, obviously. In terms of usefulness, I think it's got to be right up there. Everyone needs a bathroom, you know, you need the toilet, need a shower or a bath to get washed, a sink, just to, you know, clean your teeth, also get washed. Yeah, I don't think you can manage without a bathroom really, can you? I think it's pretty necessary. I think it's an S tier room. And similarly we have bedroom, another one that I think you pretty much need in a house. I don't think if you don't have a bedroom, I don't think you really have a house or a living accommodation, do you? You know, you need a place to sleep. It's probably the room everyone spends the most time in, just because you sleep for like, you know, 7 to 10 hours a night or something, roughly. I also spend quite a bit of time in bedroom because, you know, the bedroom's sort of the main room I spend in. That's where like my PC is, in my room and stuff. So I spend an awful lot of time in my bedroom. You know, then yeah, I think most people sort of enjoy sleeping, but you know, the getting up and having to leave the bedroom in the morning's the hard bit. So I think a bedroom, yeah, it's also S tier. Then we have a dining room. I don't really have a dining room. I mean, I have I guess a table in my living room, but it's certainly not a dining room. I think this is one that's probably more useful if there's like more people in your house. Like I just live on my own, so I don't need like an entire dining room or anything. But you know, if you're a big family or you're like hosting a dinner party, I can see the appeal. But for me personally, yeah, it's just not useful for me. Like I don't ever have loads of people around eating or anything, so I don't need a dedicated room for it. I think E tier. Certainly not waste space. I can see a reason for it, but yeah, I don't need it. Then we have the front yard / lawn. Again, I don't have one of these, but when we were a child we had like a front lawn. This is kind of more of a display lawn, like, you know, your backyard / lawn. is where you like go and play. Your front yard's like just meant to look nice, I guess. You know, you can put your flowers in it, keep your grass cut, stuff like that. So for me, yeah, it's not the most interesting thing. Like if I had a house instead of an apartment that had like a front yard or a lawn, like I don't think I'd be trying to make it look nice or anything particularly. It'd be there. I think it's a D tier. Then we have like a dedicated gaming room for like consoles and PC and stuff. I think you probably have to have a pretty big house if you want a room entirely dedicated just to your games and stuff. But I could also definitely see the appeal of having that. I certainly don't have one. I guess closest is, you know, I've got my PC set up in my room with like my office chair and whatever, and I've got a console and a TV and that, but certainly not a game room. Having a dedicated one would be nice, I guess, if you've got the space and the money for that. You know, get a really nice sound system going, get a really big screen. But yeah, for me, it's sort of a luxury that I don't need and can't afford really, or have the space for. So I think it's a D tier. Then similarly, we have like a game room again, but it's sort of more physical games. It's got like, you know, your pool table, a table tennis table. This you need like even more space if you wanted one of these, but this would be something I'd really enjoy to have if I could have one. Like I'd love to have a table tennis table in my house if I could, you know. I think it'd be great. Invite someone round, you can have a game of table tennis or a pool table, something like that. It would be very good, but again, I think you need a lot of space, and you need to, you know, need to be pretty wealthy to probably have a dedicated just like gaming room. But if I could have one, I would want one, I think. So I think I'm going to put it in B tier just because I would really like one of those if I am ever in the position to have a big house. I'd definitely have one of them. Then we have a garage. This would be very dependent on if you have a car or not, I guess. If you need one or not. I don't have one because, you know, I live in like an apartment block. My car just goes in a car park. But, you know, if I had a house, I think having a garage is, you know, very useful. Keep your car safe. Keep it dry as well. You can also just store stuff in it, you know. It can kind of also be like a bit of a workshop, you know, put tools in there or whatever. Store stuff in there. But if you don't have a car, yeah, it's obviously not the most useful. I think a very car dependent room. For me, I'd like one. I think B tier. We have a guest room. I don't have a guest room, but you know, a guest room is basically just a bedroom, but you don't use it most of the time. So yeah, if I had another room, I certainly wouldn't be getting a guest room as my first option. But you know, if you have a big house, you'll obviously have guest rooms and things. And yeah, it's good if someone's staying over to have a dedicated room for them to have. It would be nice if you have the facilities for that. But you know, I don't. But for me, a guest room. Yeah, for me personally, I don't have many people stay over, to be honest. And if they do, you know, I'll sleep on the sofa. They can have my bed, to be honest. So a guest room for me personally is a waste of space. It's just a luxury I don't need. But you know, it's useful. It could be useful for some, but for me, it would be a waste of space. Then we have kitchen. This is another room that I think almost all houses will have, or apartments or whatever. You know, you kind of need a kitchen. I guess some apartments might have like a shared kitchen. If you live in like a really small thing, something. You know, student days, you always have a shared kitchen things. But yeah, kitchen. Very useful, obviously. You know, cook your food, store your food, washing in the sinks there, get a drink of water, fridge and your freezer where, you know, get your food from. Kitchen's, you know, pretty important room again. I do have one, and I think, yeah, it's a very important room again. I think it's another S tier. Then we have the living room. Again, this is another room I do have, but it's kind of a living room slash dining room slash entranceway slash whatever. It's just the room that you come into when you come through a door. It's got like settees and a table and a TV, but yeah, I must be honest, I don't use that room too much. I only use it really if I've got a few friends around, you know, watching something on TV. Like if I'm on my own, I'll probably be in my bedroom where my computer's set up. But you know, living room, yeah, it's a nice room. It's probably where I guess most people would spend most of their time in the house that they're awake. You know, you kind of tend to sit in your living room, watch your TV, you know, talk, whatever you know you're doing. Sort of just the standard default room you go to, I guess, when you've got nothing to do. I think for me, it's probably only B tier though. Then we have the pantry. This is something I don't have. For me, like, pantry's like just where you store, I guess, food in like a really big cupboard. But to me, that's just like not necessary. I just like store my food in the kitchen. I guess if you've got like a really big family, you might need a dedicated pantry because you can't fit it all in your kitchen. But for me, a pantry personally would just be a waste of space. Then we have just a generic storage room. I guess this could be like sort of any room in your house, to be honest, and it's just sort of the room that gets defaulted to where you throw your junk into, you know, you put stuff in there. I think a lot of houses sort of have one room that's got a bit of, you know, stuff you should probably throw away, but you don't really want to, just in there where you store it. I don't have one as I don't really have the space for one, but, you know, it would be nice to have some space just to dump stuff in. But, you know, it's no one's really proud of the storage room, are they? It's more of a necessity rather than a want. But I think it's an E tier. So it's not really fully utilising the room, is it? Then we have sort of a study slash office. This would be something I'd like if I had an extra room in my house. I think this would be the thing I'd want. I'd like move my computer out of my bedroom and get like it fully set up in sort of an office, you know, because it's where I do my work from and stuff. So it'd be nice to have a separate space out of my bedroom. You know, keep the bedroom more for just sleeping and relaxing in, whereas I can have like, you know, work going on in the you know, office slash study. But yeah, you could also manage it out. I think it would be a very useful room to have, especially in sort of modern times when a lot of people are working from home. So I think I'll put it in an A tier. It's a very useful room to have. I think if you've got a spare room, that would be what I'd have. And then last we have a theatre room, or like a cinema room. This is another one that's like, you're going to have a lot of space and be rich to be able to have a full-on theatre slash cinema in your house. I'm not the biggest movie fan, so it wouldn't be anywhere near my first choice if I had like a big enough house or enough money. I'd be doing a lot of things before I had like a home cinema or anything. But, you know, if you're into movies and things like that, I could definitely see the appeal of it. So, you know, especially it'd be good for having guests around, you know, like you can watch like a film. It feels like you're in the cinema, but you're just at my house. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I think it's sort of a luxury that I don't really want or need. So I'll put it in E tier. You see here, all of them are just duplicated again, so obviously won't be ranking these again. So that's the end of the tier list. Let's have a quick run over. I feel like guest room being in waste of space is harsh, just looking at it already. Because it's definitely not a waste, it's useful if you're having guests, so I'm going to move that up. So, right. I think I'm more happy with that. So, S tier, we have bathroom, bedroom, kitchen. I think they're basically what you need to even have sort of a living, like, accommodation. I think if you don't have any of them, yeah, you're going to be struggling. Then, I have like a study slash office. You can manage without it. I think like S tier, like you need those. You couldn't even manage without them. This was just like, yeah, very nice to have, but you can manage without. But I don't want it. B tier is, it's good, but not great. C tier is, you know, take it or leave it. These two are mainly sort of weather dependent because they're outside. So when it's nice, they're nice, but when it's, you know, middle of winter, you're not going out on your balcony or in your backyard much, are you? D tier is sort of like, I can see the appeal, but it's not really for me, or I don't have the facilities. E is sort of stuff that I don't need again, but even if I had like spare rooms I wouldn't really be putting in. Guest room could be useful, but like it feels like, I know it's a selfish attitude to have, but like just having a room in your house that's not for you sort of seems not the best. Like I'd rather have like a study for myself. I'd rather have like even like a nice games room of some form before I was like making a dedicated bedroom for guests. But maybe that's a bit selfish, but that's how I'm feeling. And then in the bottom tier is like the pantry. For me, I think you can just store your food in the kitchen. Unless there's an awful lot of you living in the house, I don't feel like you need a dedicated full-on sort of room just for food storage. But that's just me. If you've enjoyed this tier list, that's great. Feel free to leave the video a like if you have. Let me know what you think of overrated, underrated, anything like that. Have I missed any rooms off that are obvious? I can't really think of any. As I said at the start, this is a requested tier list. If you would like your tier list to be made, all you have to do is leave a comment on any video and I'll give you a suggestion and there's a good chance I'll get it made. I hope you've all enjoyed and goodbye.